Let's start. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्ति वेदांता स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं। परमानंद माधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरम् गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः. And then we'll say pranam mantra for Bhaktivinod Thakur. This is the pranam mantra. Namo Bhaktivinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Satchidanand Bhaktivinod, who is transcendental energy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is a strict follower of the Goswamis headed by Srila Rupa. So let's talk about Bhaktivinod Thakur. If you saw, I labeled the talk, the discussion as Bhaktivinod Thakur, the seventh Goswami. So does anyone know or can anyone guess why that is so? Why was he called the seventh Goswami? I think you're all familiar with the six Goswamis, right? Six Goswamis of Vrindavan who are the disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As you know, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna himself, who came 500 years back to establish the chanting of holy names. So he gave us the Sankirtan movement. He spread the holy name far and wide. He did not look at anybody's qualifications, and he spread the holy name without considering anybody's birth or reputation or position or caste or anything like that. So he freely gave the holy name. He freely made the Vedic scriptures available to anyone and everyone. And he had six disciples that were six Goswamis of Vrindavan. So if you understand, so my first question to you is, do you know what were the four tasks given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to these six Goswamis of Vrindavan? Like there were four important services given to Goswamis that were not performed by any other disciple or any other follower of Mahaprabhu, but these six particular Goswamis. Can anyone guess what could be those four important services? If you understand those services, you will see why Bhaktivinod Thakur is called seventh Goswami. So what were the four services?
I don't know all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, please take turns. Go ahead,
Okay.
Ravi Prabhu, then Hema Mataji.
I think the one that I can recall was that one of the task was given, go to Vrindavan and rediscover the deities of Radha Krishna and all the Leelas places that Krishna and Radha Mataji has done.
Yes, so actually Prabhuji has mentioned two services already. So one task was to establish the temples, establish the deities and temples in Vrindavan, establish the deity worship. So they discovered, and actually many self-manifested deities appear to these Goswamis. And those are the most important temples. They are called Sapt Devalya in Vrindavan. There are 7 important temples of our Goswamis that are in Vrindavan. So whenever you go to Vrindavan, please make it a point to actually visit these particular 7 temples, okay? Eventually, you should know the names and the deities in these temples and how, and actually these are very wonderful details of how each deity appeared to each Goswami. मतलब पूरी कहानियां हैं कि कैसे वो deity manifest हुए एक particular Goswami को. So the one task was to establish the deities and establish temples in Vrindavan. Second service that Prabhuji mentioned was to discover Krishna's pastime places in Vrindavan. Because you know that in time everything in Kali Yuga becomes degraded, degenerated. Things become lost. So Vrindavan was also similarly lost in a way that it was completely over. It is a forest. Vrindavan is a forest of Tulsi Maharani, right? There are so many Tulsi trees. It's over. At that time it was completely overrun by Tulsi trees. So there was Tulsi plants everywhere, and there were other wild plants and other trees and whatnot. So it was just a complete jungle, and there was no knowing where Krishna did what pastimes. So as we know the Vrindavan today, that Vrindavan was actually re-established by these six Goswamis of Vrindavan. So that's why when we go to Vrindavan, it is important to read and hear about these Goswamis, because as you understand about them, you will relish the Vrindavan more. The Vrindavan will actually reveal itself to you. So that was another task to re-establish or rediscover Krishna's Leela Sthalis. Okay, where is Kalia Ghat, where is Vamsivata, all these pastime places. Okay, who can, Hema Mataji, please share. You were saying something.
Oh, I thought of those two, but I don't know if they were also involved in compiling scripture.
Yes. So they were instructed to, and that was actually the first instruction. That was the foremost and most important instruction, was to compile Vaishnav literature, to compile all the Vedic literature in an easy to understand form in the local languages. So they mainly compiled it into Sanskrit, some literature in Sanskrit, but mostly in Bengali languages. So you will see that these six Goswamis have many commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and various other Puranas and all. And what was the fourth task, and the most important for us actually, other than Vaishnav literature, temples, and Leela Sthalis, what was the most important fourth task?
The bhajan and the holy name, spread of the holy name.
That is like the inherent mood of Mahaprabhu. So that is, मतलब वो बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है, वो तो एक unwritten instruction है कि holy name spread करना है. Bhajan is a natural expression of somebody's love, somebody's heart. So that was not something that you can instruct somebody कि गाओ भाई गाना गाओ. So that is natural expression of somebody's love. But there is an instruction.
Is it, Mataji, spread the words like like preaching?
हाँ, preaching तो एक तरह से यही होगा ना, वैष्णव लिटरेचर लिखेंगे and then it will be spread. एक बहुत important है, that is called establish the Vaishnav etiquettes. Okay, to establish the Vaishnav etiquettes. So Vaishnav Sadachar, basically, to establish the Vaishnav etiquettes. Okay. So now, as you understand, so they did, these six Goswamis did a lot of service in this Vaishnav tradition, and the whole Vaishnav tradition is basically flourishing because of the hard work of these six Goswamis. And they came from very wealthy families. It's not like they were not educated or they were poor or something and they had no other jobs, so they took to bhakti or they became follower of Mahaprabhu. They were actually exceptionally intelligent people with great government services. They were highly coveted government officials and whatnot. They were, some of them were businessmen, and they had, in today's currency, they had millions of dollars worth of business in that time. They gave up all that to establish this Vaishnav tradition, this Vaishnav culture, these study of scriptures and the chanting of holy names, and establish the temples and rediscover Vrindavan and whatnot. So then, like I said, with age, with time, in Kali Yuga, things always deteriorate. Now, the Mahaprabhu and his six amazing disciples established this wonderful lineage for us. Okay, they established this Sadachar, this culture, all the scriptures. Now, in time, okay, in time, over years, that also became degraded. Okay, and when it was about 1800s, imagine the whole country, the whole country is being ruled by Britishers, and there is a lot of influence of the previous rulers of the Mughal Empire. Their influence is also very strong, who have already destroyed so many temples in Vrindavan, who have already destroyed so many of our scriptures and burnt them and whatnot. And so in those few hundred of years, the culture again became degraded. Okay. So this is very important to understand. In that time, this is early 1800s, and Bhaktivinod Thakur was born in 1838. Okay. About 1880s to 1890, you can say late 19th century, was the time when Vaishnav culture had become so degraded. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauranga's teachings, which are so wonderful, so nectarian. They are the highest moods of that teach the highest mood of devotional service, the pure, unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service. That mood had become corrupted over time, so that there were so many people who were practicing the Vaishnav tradition or Gaudiya tradition in a very disturbing way, in a very corrupt way, in a very fraudulent way. Okay. तो जैसे हम बोलते हैं हमारा संप्रदाय है, लेकिन उस टाइम पे कुछ इस तरीके के डिस्टर्बिंग एलिमेंट्स थे जिनको बोलते थे अप संप्रदाय. अप का मतलब होता है एपी, मतलब अप संप्रदाय, ऐसे संप्रदाय जो डेविएटेड हैं फ्रॉम द regular teachings, from the sanctified teachings. They are deviated, they are not, they have made up their own culture in, ultimately for sense gratification, ultimately to pad up their own false ego and whatnot. For example, जैसे कि आपको एग्जांपल देती हूँ, एक ऐसे 13 प्रोमिनेंट अप संप्रदाय थे उस तरीके से, जो महाप्रभु की टीचिंग्स को डेविएट करके स्प्रेड करते थे, प्रैक्टिस करते थे. जैसे एक संप्रदाय था गौरांग नागरीस, वो अपने आप को गौरांग नागरी बोलते थे. They used to say that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even though he was Krishna, he did not dance with gopis. So this desire of his has remained unfulfilled. So as his representatives, now we will dance with the women. So in the name of satisfying Gaurang Mahaprabhu, they would exploit other women. They would exploit, wives of other men and whatnot. So these were called Gaurang Nagari. इस तरीके के बहुत disturbing elements were very prominent in that late 19th century. So to say कि हम महाप्रभु का भाव समझते हैं कि ultimately he's Krishna, he wants to, he's in the mood of Radha Rani, he wants Krishna to dance with gopis, so we should dance with gopis to fulfill that desire that he did not fulfill when he came. अच्छा, then there was something called Sakhi Bheki. Sakhi Bheki वो कहते थे, no, we won't dance with gopis, but we will dress as gopis in Sakhi Bhav, and they will like marry the deities of Krishna and whatnot. So all kind of, you can think of all kind of deviations and distortions that are possible. People had concocted many deviant ideas. They will sing kirtans in public, but their kirtans were again in a very deviant mood. जैसे कि उन्होंने जो इतना हमारा जो wonderful mood है of devotional service, उसको corrupt करके they had made it very cheap. They had made it very, इसको इन ऐसे लोगों को बोलते हैं prakrit sahajiyas. This term I want all of you to remember, prakrit sahajiyas, because this term is very commonly used by many other teachers when you hear lectures in ISKCON. We are told to stay away from these type of people, these prakrit sahajiyas. They will dress up as gopis. They will try to, we always dress up very cleanly, very nicely as representative of the Lord, right? We don't dress like gopis and or like in very opulent way. None of that. These people, they will marry the deities of Krishna to express their mood, whatnot. So these are called prakrit sahajiyas. Sahaj bhav hai jinka, बहुत cheaply ले रहे हैं. Like they have distorted this wisdom into something very cheap. ऐसे ही वो एक जात गोसाई होते हैं. So there are many unauthentic sects that were prominent at that time. So because of these people, the ordinary people used to think that, oh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers are like this, we better stay away from them, So nobody was taking to chanting of holy names, because these are the kind of people that they are. This is their practices, So they were very disturbing people. So they will, so ordinary people, intelligent people used to actually stay away from them. So Bhaktivinod Thakur, again, I have not started from the birth of Bhaktivinod. I'm showing you one of his very important contributions. This was his very important contribution to our Vaishnav tradition, that he single-handedly destroyed, uprooted these 13 upsampradayas. And you remember that he was a very prominent person in British government. He was a district magistrate actually. So he was a grahastha. Okay, unlike Goswamis, he was not a sannyasi. Okay, he was a grahastha, and actually very busy grahastha. He had many children. He had a wife who was also a devotee, and he was a district magistrate. So he was a professional. He was working overtime, like overtime as in he used to handle about 30 to 50 cases in a day. And British government used to rely on him for many difficult cases. जितने भी complicated ऐसे cases होते थे वो भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर को देते थे. He was very coveted by British government, कि इनको तो very valued by them. तो वो उनको उनके लिए कुछ भी करते थे. British government used to try to please him however he wanted. Like one of the example of that is there was a train that was started by Britishers from the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur to the courtrooms, to the courthouse, to his office in the courthouse. कि ऐसा नहीं कि बाहर जाके वो टांगा ढूंढ रहे हैं कि कैसे जाऊंगा, रिक्शा ढूंढ रहे हैं, 10 मिनट रिक्शा की वेट कर रहे हैं काम पे जाने के लिए. नो, हाँ, या बाइसिकल पे जा रहे हैं. नहीं, ट्रेन जाती थी जो सीधा और उसमें कोई और, देयर वाज nobody else, only Bhaktivinoda Thakur would ride that train because he was so honored and valued, because he was so intelligent, so skillful, so talented, so pure that he was indispensable to British government. तो ये Bhaktivinoda Thakur ne, he was such a prominent figure. He used his position of power actually as a district magistrate to destroy these disturbing people from the Vaishnav Sampradaya. So ये जो up Sampradayas थे, these 13 prominent up Sampradayas, he destroyed them. All these nonsense ideas where they were spreading all this illicit sexual content, all this was uprooted single-handedly by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So this is one of the very important contribution, because you are all familiar with his literature, with his books, you're familiar with his songs, right? You know that he gave us Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, who is the guru of Prabhupada. So you're familiar with those things. But today I want to tell you about many other aspects of Bhaktivinoda Thakur that you may not be familiar with, and this is one of the most prominent aspect. Okay. तो इसीलिए उनको 7th गोस्वामी बोलते हैं, because he brought जो वैष्णव संप्रदाय पूरा खत्म हो गया था उसको उन्होंने वापस लेकर आए, just like 6 गोस्वामीज वापस लेकर आए थे. And not only that, he organized Gaudiya Sampradaya into a very institutional form. He's considered the architect of Gaudiya Sampradaya. Ki, there should be a structure, there should be a hierarchy, there should be a proper organizational aspect to this Gaudiya Sampradaya. So, उसको further evolve किया भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती महाराज ने. और प्रभुपाद तो complete builder हैं, like उन्होंने तो बिल्कुल उसको जैसे कहते हैं कि एक architect होता है, फिर engineer होता है. आर्किटेक्ट सारा प्लान बनाता है, इंजीनियर फिर उसको एग्जीक्यूट करता है, और बिल्डर बिल्कुल ग्राउंड लेवल पे वो मजदूरी करता है ना. सो प्रभुपाद ने बिल्कुल जैसे ग्राउंड लेवल पे बिल्डिंग की है, भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती महाराज ने सारे आइडियाज एग्जीक्यूट इन प्लेस लगा दिए थे, और भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर ने प्लान पूरा किया था, चार्ट आउट. सो ही इज द एक्चुअली आर्किटेक्ट ऑफ दिस गौड़ीय संप्रदाय मूवमेंट. So this is just one aspect of him. I'll start from the beginning now, like from his life. So he was born in Bengal, as you may know. I'll actually show you the pictures of his house. He was born in the Godrum Dweep of Navdweep. He was in the Godrum. Just you know that Navdweep has 9 islands. One of that island is called Godrume Dweep. So he was born in the land of Nadia in the Godrume Dweep on September 2, 1838. And his name at the time of birth was Kedarnath Dutt. Kedarnath Dutt. So the family in which he was born, they were not very favorable to Vaishnavas actually. So he's sometimes referred to as Daitya Kule Prahlad. जैसे प्रहलाद दैत्य कुल में आए थे, ऐसे भक्तिविनोद ठाकुर के बारे में भी बोलते हैं दैत्य कुले प्रहलाद. And he was a divine personality, you could tell right from his childhood. So always you can tell as a child, if these divine personalities start showing their prominent, aspects, जैसे उनकी different scriptures के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा intense attraction थी. So even by 6 years of age, he had already read and understood all the main scriptures, जैसे महाभारत, रामायण, भागवतम, भगवद गीता, ये सारे बड़े बड़े scriptures 6 साल की उम्र तक पढ़ लिए थे. By 9 years of age, he was exploring other things. He scriptures पढ़ लिए, now he was exploring other shastras. जो you know that हमारे Vedic scriptures में दूसरे शास्त्रास भी होते हैं, जैसे कि for example ज्योतिष शास्त्र है, नीति शास्त्र है, right? अभिनय शास्त्र, नाट्य शास्त्र, like so many other shastras are there. So he was already exploring these other shastras by 9 years of age. By 10 years, then he realized these other shastras are, you know, they are only on material plane. They are not very much needed. Like I don't need to go deep into these. So he was again looking for spiritual truths, spiritual. He had this spiritual inquisitiveness, this hankering for higher truths. तो उनको ये inquisitiveness आ गई थी by 10 years of age. फिर वो अपनी बायोग्राफी में बताते हैं कि couple events happened in his childhood that drew his attention towards the name and forms of the Lord. Okay, एक event हुआ था कि एक बार, you know, so he was in Bengal where Durga Puja is very prominent. So Durga Puja के time पे they were making a picture or they were making a deity or picture of Durga Ma, and he was watching the carpenter make the deity, make the picture. I don't know if it was picture or a deity. So he asked the carpenter, when will God enter into this? So he said, when I make the eyes, God will enter. So he said, okay, the day you make eyes, I will be there. I want to see God entering into it. So he saw that the eyes were made, but he doesn't see anything special happening. God तो नहीं आ रहे इनके अंदर. तो उन्होंने कहा नहीं, जब ब्राह्मणास वर्शिप करेंगे ना तब भगवान आएंगे इसमें. फिर उन्होंने ब्राह्मणास की वर्शिप करते हुए भी देखा, तब भी नहीं आए. तब कारपेंटर ने उनको बोला कि ये जो ब्राह्मणास पूजा कर रहे हैं ना, तो ये प्योर हैं. Or the only way Lord will reveal himself to you is if you meditate on the name and forms of the Lord. तो ऐसे किसी बिल्कुल ही किसी व्यक्ति ने, like एक कारपेंटर था, जिसने उनको ये बोला कि you just start meditating on the name and forms of the Lord and gradually Lord will reveal to you. So from that day he became interested in this aspect. So he, you know, will visit temples and start meditating on the Lord and sit and chant various names and various mantras. So that's how he became interested in names and forms of the Lord. In fact, it is described that at one point he even studied Advaitvad. Advaitvad is impersonalism. कि ठीक है, names और forms तो ठीक है, पर क्या ये अद्वैतवाद का principle भी ठीक है? So he studied that also in very detail. And he realized that there are many questions that Advaitvad is not able to answer. Impersonalism is not answering my questions. So he actually wrote an article. It's a very interesting name. The article was called "Train from Shankaracharya Could Not Reach Nadia." So think of this: train from Shankaracharya could not reach Nadia. ऐसे उन्होंने article लिखा. So he realized कि जो शंकराचार्य ने ये propagate किए theory of Advaitvad, this is not cutting it. This is not reaching the heart. मतलब because Nadia is the birthplace of Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu is the heart of Gaudiya tradition. So he said train of Shankaracharya could not reach Nadia. So इस तरीके से ultimately he condemned not only these up sampradayas but also impersonalism also. So anyway, so एक ये incident हुआ था जिसमें उन्होंने names and forms पे meditate करना शुरू किया. इसके अलावा एक और कुछ incident हुआ था. I'll come to it. अच्छा, eventually, so when he was very young, his father passed away, and he was married at a very young age, like 12 years की age पे उनकी शादी हो गई थी, and his wife's name was Bhagwati Devi Dāsi, and she was also a devotee, became a devotee gradually with him. And she also, you know, both of them used to serve the Lord together. So she used to assist him in all his numerous services that he had. फिर eventually he received education from Calcutta. उन्होंने बहुत अच्छी training ली थी. Like he became very expert in many languages. The most prominent being, जैसे वो बंगाल से थे, तो ऐसा नहीं कि मैं तो और उस टाइम ब्रिटिश रूल था, तो ऐसा नहीं कि ओ अंग्रेजी छोड़ो, you know, हम अंग्रेजी नहीं करेंगे, सीखेंगे. He actually, you know, properly trained in English language, and you can see that influence. You can see how these 2 points, that he trained in English language. He was very expert in reading and writing. And secondly, how he made friends with, prominent people in the society. These two are the qualities you see in Prabhupada also. So instead of condemning English language, he said, I will compose the best literatures, the best, I'll glorify Lord, because Lord is called Uttam Shloka. Uttam Shloka doesn't mean that he can only be glorified in Sanskrit language or Hindi language. He can be glorified in any language. I'll glorify Lord in English language also. So he actually composed a lot of literature in English language, which was, and his English was so wonderful. अब जैसे भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती जो उनके बेटे हैं, you can see in him, if you start reading Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's books, even people that have strong grasp on English language find it very hard to understand, because the language is very, मतलब, simple sentences to हैं, they're all complex sentences, all compound statements. So in this way, he was an expert in different languages. Ultimately, like I told you, he became a district magistrate. So he used to serve the areas of Odisha and Bengal under British government. So 1866 में वो finally district magistrate बने. उसके बाद भी वो scriptures पढ़ते रहे. अभी उन्होंने अपना भक्ति का भाव इतना reveal नहीं किया है. Okay, he did not reveal his pure devotee mood yet. He's still exploring. He's writing articles, and he was writing many articles that were not just about pure devotional service. Okay, for example, he wrote many books on many volumes. It is described he wrote about Alexander the Great. Then he also wrote many volumes of stories on Vikram Betal. Vikram Betal, if you remember, there used to be children's stories. So he wrote many volumes of books on Vikram Betal, Alexander the Great. He wrote another article which said from Moses to Mahaprabhu. Abhi he's just starting to understand about Mahaprabhu and Srimad Bhagavatam. तो उन्होंने ऐसे थोड़े उनके शुरू के आर्टिकल्स जो हैं वो बिल्कुल प्योर डिवोशनल सर्विस के बारे में नहीं होते थे. They used to be a little bit about other subjects also, जैसे कि Alexander the Great से भी हम बहुत चीजें सीख सकते हैं. All these prominent personalities से हम बहुत चीजें सीख सकते हैं. So वो उनसे भी बहुत सारी morals and ethics derive करते थे. So इस तरीके से वो he's just discovering the absolute truth slowly. Then he spent almost 1 year. Okay, 1 year during his professional life. He spent almost 1 year training under a devotee called Gopinath Pandit. एक devotee थे Gopinath Pandit. उनसे उन्होंने श्रीमद् भागवतम पढ़ी. उन्होंने श्रीमद् भागवतम पहले भी अपने आप पढ़ रखी थी. But now he went into depth with the help of Gopinath Pandit. And during that 1 year, in 1 year, he not only read Srimad Bhagavatam, he read Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, he read Govinda Leelamrit, which is, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's book. He read commentaries of various acharyas on Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and he read Shad Sandarbha of Jeev Goswami. तो इस तरीके से 5-6 books जो कि बहुत ही ज्यादा voluminous books हैं. Like Srimad Bhagavatam we know is very voluminous, very big to cover by itself. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu is extremely intricate, confidential knowledge of devotional service. Shad Sandarbha is a 6-volume book by Jeev Goswami, which is again very, very deep in tattva and philosophy. Govinda Leelamrit is full of pastimes of Govinda by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So he studied all of these in 1 year. So by then, now he came to this platform where he's now transitioning to write all these wonderful bhajans and books about pure devotional service. In fact, एक बार Britishers ने उनको approach किया कि there is this place, कोई भी दिक्कत का काम होता था तो Britishers approach करते थे. तो उन्होंने कहा कि there is this place in the town, there is a tree. We have heard कि कोई घोस्ट या कोई ब्रह्म राक्षस रहता है उस पेड़ पे, और जो भी उस पेड़ के नीचे से जाता है वो गायब हो जाता है. So many people have reported losses of their family members who passed under this tree. So उनका नाम था केदारनाथ दत्त, right? भक्तिविनोद ठाकुर का. तो मैंने पूछा केदारनाथ दत्त, can you help us solve this problem? So by now Bhaktivinod Thakur is he understands the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam. उन्होंने क्या किया, वो पेड़ के नीचे जाके 7 दिन तक श्रीमद् भागवतम की नरेशन, रिसाइटेशन एंड कथा की. और 7 दिन के बाद this problem was solved. No further cases of anybody disappearing from under that tree. So इस तरीके से, you know, there are some lesser known facts about Bhaktivinoda Thakur that we may not understand. Acha, he, like I was saying, he made friends with, or he was very popular. So we know, understand that he was very popular in Vaishnav Samaj, right? Because he was training under them, studying under them, writing about the Vaishnav literature. He destroyed all these up-sampradayas. So he was very popular in Vaishnav Samaj. He was, and then we understood that he was very popular with the British government because he was doing such an amazing professional service for them. He was also very popular with the social reformers of that time. जैसे कि one of the social reformers you may have heard of, very very famous, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, है ना, सबने सुना होगा राजा राम मोहन राय का नाम. राजा राम मोहन राय ने की एक बुक थी, उस बुक में राजा राम मोहन राय ने भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर से प्रीफेस लिखवाया था. So they all used to give very much importance to भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर. इसी तरीके से एक और आपने नाम सुना होगा बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी का. बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी also very important in our Indian history. So Bankim Chandra Chatterjee wrote introduction to Bhaktivinoda Thakur's book. Bhaktivinoda Thakur ने भगवद गीता पे कमेंट्री लिखी थी. Okay, भगवद गीता की कमेंट्री का नाम है रसिक रंजन. Okay, so you know that various acharyas have commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. Does everyone know that? Right? हम किसकी कमेंट्री पढ़ते हैं? हम श्रीला प्रभुपाद की तो हम पूरी ट्रांसलेशन एंड परपोर्ट पढ़ते हैं, बट प्रभुपाद ने किसकी कमेंट्री से अपनी भगवद गीता लिखी है?
विद्याभूषण, श्री विद्याभूषण जी.
श्री बलदेव विद्याभूषण की कमेंट्री.
बलदेव विद्याभूषण.
You know the name of the commentary?
Name of the commentary नहीं माता जी, भूल गए.
गोविंद भाष्य.
गोविंद भाष्य.
So जब आप भगवद गीता का जब फर्स्ट पेज खोलते हो तो प्रभुपाद has given acknowledgement to Baldev Vidyabhushan that he wrote his Bhagavad Gita by studying the commentary of study of commentary of Baldev Vidyabhushan's Govinda Bhasya. So इसी तरीके से भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जो commentary है on Bhagavad Gita, that was called रसिक रंजन. उस रसिक रंजन का की introduction बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी ने लिखी थी. इसी तरीके से बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी wrote a book and he had Bhaktivinod Thakur edited. तो it is described that Bhaktivinod Thakur को वो book में उन्होंने इतना edit किया, he almost changed like 90% of the book, क्योंकि सारे उसमें जो philosophy थी वो गलत थी, उनको वो बिल्कुल भी पसंद नहीं बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी की philosophy. So Bhaktivinod Thakur edited it so much. So and Bankim Chandra Chatterjee accepted all that additions that Bhaktivinod Thakur had made, and it was published as such. So it is published under the name of Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, but Bhaktivinod Thakur was actually is only credited as an editor for that book. So इस तरीके से, you know, he was very popular in the amongst the prominent personalities at that time. So this is a lesson for us that, you know, we should be engaging with the prominent people, you know, around us that can actually help us in spreading the name, fame, glories, pastimes of Krishna. Those may not be devotees, you know, but they may be on a different level right now. They may be in Mishrit Bhakti. They may be pious people. But by engaging them in a service like this, by making them favorable to serve you, you're actually helping them and helping the community. So this principle was, you know, very famously used by Prabhupada, and many times he used that principle. अच्छा, फिर एक पास टाइम मैं आपको बताती हूँ, उसके बाद let's hear from others also. ये पास टाइम बहुत फेमस है भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर का. So I told you that Bhaktivinod Thakur was very strong against the nonsense people. So yes, of course, he would make friends with, you know, pious people, nice people who are philosophers, who are, you know, legit, qualified people. But fraudulent people he could not stand. So there was one such person, one such corrupt person. His name was Bisha. Forgetting his name. Bishak Sen. हाँ, Bishak Sen. His name was Bishak Sen. Sorry, his name was Bishak Sen. ये व्यक्ति ओडिशा के एक टाउन में रहता था, and he claimed that he is an incarnation of महाविष्णु. आपने से किसने ये कहानी सुनी है? बहुत फेमस स्टोरी है बिशक सेन की. किसी ने कहानी सुनी है? इस पे प्लेस भी हैं.
I remember reading about Mataji. So I can't recall the every details, but yes.
ओके हाँ ये बहुत फेमस स्टोरी है तो वो क्लेम करता था मैं महाविष्णु का अवतार हूँ और उसके पास कुछ सिद्धीज भी थी so some people have siddhis and we should not be surprised by that some people very they do some austerities and get siddhis but some people it is described that there are people living entities that from like these higher planets maharlok tapalok etc when they fall down from those higher planets and come to bhulok they still retain some of their previous siddhis and so when they do a little bit of austerities and all they're easily able to cultivate those siddhis and polish them again in this life so some people are very easily able to acquire these mystic powers and this person actually did have some mystic powers but based on those siddhis or mystic powers he used to exploit people किसी के पैसे किसी की wife like that he would exploit people so Bhaktivinod Thakur ने क्या किया and then he had also convinced some other minor people गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल्स टू जैसे बिशप सेन लोगों को ऐसे वरदान वगैरह देकर ये वो करके अपनी तरफ ले लेता था Now, Bhaktivinod Thakur took, major steps against him. Bhaktivinod Thakur कुछ officials के साथ पहुंच गए उसको arrest करने. So initially, Bhaktivinod Thakur dealt with him gently. He said कि तुम भगवान बोलते हो अपने आप को तुम पूरी आओ तुम जगन्नाथ जी के दर्शन लो और देखो कि तुम्हें लगता है क्या सच में तुम भगवान हो या वो भगवान है क्या लगता है So that time this Bishop Sen actually blasphemed Jagannath ji very badly. He said वो क्या है वो तो लकड़ी का टुकड़ा है पुतला है उसमें क्या powers हैं वो ये कर सकता है क्या मैं ये कर सकता हूँ वो कर सकता हूँ like that he blasphemed Lord Jagannath. So this Bhaktivinod Thakur could not tolerate. So initially he was trying to deal with this guy gently. Now he had his officials arrest him. So he was arrested and thrown into the jail. And he had very heavy guards guarding that jail. So at that time, now Bhaktivinod Thakur's many family members, his kids, his wife, he himself actually fell very sick. And it is described that that was due to the direct result of this man's siddhis, because he had these mystic powers that since Bhaktivinod Thakur arrested him, he did something so that people of Bhaktivinod Thakur's family, including Bhaktivinod Thakur, actually became very sick. So at that time, somebody suggested to Bhaktivinod Thakur that actually this man is nothing more than a tantric. This man is nothing more than a tantric, and tantric people hold their power in their hair or in their जिनकी शिखा होती है उसमें वो सारी पावर इकट्ठी करते हैं आप उसके बाल कटवा दो उसके बाल मुंडवा दो हाँ तो let's see what happens. So that's what they did. In the jail he was shaved. जब उसका हेड शेव किया ये सब लोगों की बीमारी खत्म that guy's mystic powers were gone and eventually actually his body dwindled and he finally just within a few days he lost his life in the karagraha in the jail he lost his life so in this way Bhaktivinod Thakur was very strong against these type of illicit corrupt type of people. Okay, I'll take a pause here. Let's hear from others. Then I'll share one other very, very important contribution of Bhaktivinod Thakur. But let's hear from others. कोई और बात किसी को पता है जो बताना चाहते हैं? कोई books के नाम, कोई songs के नाम? Anyone wants to share anything?
Mataji, I think this you may correct this. Bhaktivinod Thakur, he was very good in writing, but he was not very good in speaking and preaching. So he prayed to Lord Jagannath that you help me to preach the knowledge that I have and that you gave me. And so help me out. And that's how I think he was blessed with the son Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And when he was born, the Prabhu, that's how that one saying is that when Jagannath Yatra was there, Rath Yatra, the Yatra stopped, the Rath stopped at the in front of the house because his house was right in the city, in the front on the main road. And it won't move till the Mataji came, the Bhagavati Mataji came with the son and she placed Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur on the chariot and then माला उनके गला से गिरा, and then उसके बाद रथ वहां से move हुआ. So this also I have heard. You may correct it if it is something that.
Yes, Prabhuji, I have heard a similar. I don't know about the preaching part, but there are so many details. So you may be right. But can anyone tell? So Prabhuji said that he prayed to Lord Jagannath, and he was blessed with the son called Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, है ना? Bimal Prasad है ना? Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati का birth name था Bimal Prasad. उन्होंने भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर ने एग्जैक्टली जगन्नाथ जी को क्या कहा था कि मुझे क्या चाहिए, और ये दिस इज अनदर नेम फॉर भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर. कैन एनीवन टेल? ये बड़ी फेमस बात है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट. ही सेड गिव मी अ रे ऑफ विष्णु. सो भक्ति सिद्धांत से एक बुक भी है इस पे, अ रे ऑफ विष्णु. और ये वर्ड पता है कहाँ से है, रे ऑफ विष्णु? ये एक भागवतम की वर्स में से आया है. आई डोंट रिमेम्बर द वर्स नाउ. वी हैड लेटली रेड दिस वर्स. आई थिंक इट इज इन 3rd canto. A ray of Vishnu. तो उन्होंने कहा था मुझे a ray of Vishnu चाहिए. So जब when he was blessed with Bimal Prasad, he called him Bimal Prasad नहीं, Bimla Prasad. So he was called a ray of Vishnu. तो आज तक भी वो भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती को ऐसे बोलते हैं क्योंकि भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर ने उनके लिए मांगा था. यस प्रभु जी, थैंक यू, वंडरफुल. और कोई कुछ शेयर करेगा? एनीथिंग एल्स? दिस इज वेरी वेरी नाइस.
Sheetal is saying the book called Sharanagati
हम्म,
by Bhaktivinod Thakur.
शरणागति, जिसमें इनके इतने अच्छे अच्छे सॉन्ग्स हैं, ऐसे गीतावली जिसमें इनके सॉन्ग्स हैं. और कोई बुक्स के नाम, फेमस बुक्स के नाम? जैव धर्मा is a very very famous book. Jaiv Dharma is a book that has the flavors from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Ujjwal Neelmani, everything. It's only one volume book. So if somebody had to read one book of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Jaiv Dharma is the book to read. Actually, I'll tell you, lately I think Adi Gadadhar Prabhu has been doing lectures on Jaiv Dharma. So in this way, and then there was one book that Bhaktivinod Thakur wrote, which is very famous because that was the first book of Vaishnav Sampradaya that came to foreign country, that came to USA actually. It was called Lord Chaitanya, His Life and Precepts. This was sent to USA. This came to USA. This is the first book, Lord Chaitanya, His Life and Precepts. ये 1896 में आई थी USA में. That was incidentally the year when our beloved Prabhupada was also born. ऐसे बहुत बुक्स हैं, हरि नाम चिंतामणि, भजन रहस्य, and then he wrote numerous commentaries, commentary on Ishopnishad, Nectar of Instruction, Chaitanya Charitamrit, Krishna Karnamrit. He wrote Kalyan Kalpataru. He translated the Padma Puran, Navdvip Dham Mahatmya. उन्होंने एक और आर्टिकल लिखा था जो थोड़ा कंटेम्प्रेरी आर्टिकल था, जैसे पहला बताया था ना मैंने, द ट्रेन ऑफ शंकराचार्य कुड नॉट रीच नदिया. ऐसे एक उन्होंने आर्टिकल लिखा था फ्रॉम मोसेस टू महाप्रभु. फ्रॉम मोसेस टू महाप्रभु, तो मतलब वेस्टर्न फिलोसफी और अपनी गौड़िया फिलोसफी को कनेक्ट किया था उन्होंने उसमें. ऐसे बहुत बहुत चीजें थी. चलिए एक और मैं आपको उनकी इंपॉर्टेंट कंट्रीब्यूशन बताती हूँ, which tells you how he is the 7th Goswami. So one of the contribution was that he destroyed that darkness in the Gaudiya Sampradaya that was created by all these up Sampradayas. Also, it was created to some extent by the Mughal emperors and by the British Raj. They had also slowly, deliberately, intentionally, they had ripped apart this our Vaishnav Samaj, right? So that was restored by Bhaktivinod Thakur. तो एक तो ये contribution थी बहुत important. दूसरी contribution आपको बताती हूँ. He found the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Mayapur. कौन कौन गया है मायापुर में बर्थ प्लेस ऑफ चैतन्य महाप्रभु? इट्स कॉल्ड योग पीठ, एंड आई मे हैव सम पिक्चर्स, लेट मी शेयर. आई हैव पिक्चर, या आई हैव पिक्चर्स, यस. कोई गया है? मैं देख नहीं पा रही. सो प्लीज व्हेन यू गो टू मायापुर नेक्स्ट टाइम, मेक इट अ पॉइंट टू गो टू योग पीठ, ओके? सो वहां पे योग पीठ की एक बहुत अच्छी कहानी है, कैसे भक्तिविनोद ठाकुर फाउंड द प्लेस ऑफ महाप्रभु's बर्थ. तो मैं आपको दिखा दूंगी थोड़ी देर में कंटिन्यू में. So क्या हुआ था कि Bhaktivinod Thakur wanted to find the birthplace of Mahaprabhu. He wanted to find exactly where Mahaprabhu was born in Navdvip. So he started exploring various maps. He started studying history, started interviewing various Vaishnavas. Basically started exploring into the Gaudiya literature to see how he could find the birthplace of Mahaprabhu. Okay, तो सारा उन्होंने जब explore किया, then he realized that या तो ईस्टर्न घाट ऑफ गंगा पे है महाप्रभु का बर्थ प्लेस या वेस्टर्न घाट पे है. वहां पे दो जगह थी जो प्रोमिनेंट थी, ईस्टर्न घाट पे एक जगह, वेस्टर्न घाट पे एक जगह. जो सहजिया, प्रकृत सहजिया वगैरह का लिटरेचर था, ठीक है, वो लोग तो बोलते थे कि वेस्टर्न घाट पे है. लेकिन जब भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर स्टार्टेड डिगिंग डीप इनटू इट, ही रियलाइज्ड दैट there is no way Mahaprabhu's birthplace is on the western ghat of Ganga. It has to be on the eastern ghat. So he went there and he started exploring. And he saw that place was overgrown by tulsi, and there was also the neem tree. The neem tree, which is exactly described according to the literature surrounding Mahaprabhu. जो भी महाप्रभु के बारे में लिटरेचर है, जिस उससे ये पता चलता है कि यहाँ पे ये नीम, because remember he is called Nimai, he is born under the neem tree. So the neem tree, the tulsi overgrown, everything. Plus there was this effulgence, golden effulgence in that place, and he was very sure that this is the place. But he did not want to say it because, you know, everybody, you feel this is a very important task. How can I say that this is the birthplace? I need some Paramhams Vaishnav to confirm that this is the birthplace of Mahaprabhu. So who do you think was the Param Vaishnav that confirmed that this is the birthplace of Mahaprabhu?
Gaur Kishore Das Maharaj.
Acha. So tell me, so who
Is it
knows the relationship between Bhaktivinod Thakur and Gaur Kishore Das Babaji? क्या उनका क्या relation हुआ प्रभु जी? वो उनके क्या लगे?
उनके गुरु ने भक्त सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर के गुरु हैं गौर किशोर दास बाबा महाराज.
और उनके शिष्य है ना, भक्तिविनोद ठाकुर के शिष्य लगे गौर
तो
ना?
शिष्य हैं, हाँ.
लेकिन this place was confirmed by the guru of Bhaktivinod Thakur. So who is the guru?
जगन्नाथ
Yes.
दास महाराज.
जगन्नाथ दास
Yes.
बाबाजी महाराज. जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज कैसे कंफर्म किया उन्होंने? Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj at this time is 140 years old. Okay? हमें पिछले साल हमने जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज के बारे में भी डिस्कस किया था. He was 140 years old. सोचो 140 years. He could not even open his eyes. बस मुंह भी नहीं हिलता था, बस चैंटिंग करते रहते थे सारा टाइम. बॉडी पे बस स्किन की एक पतली सी लेयर थी. That's it. Could not even move. Now he had a servant, Bihari, जो उनको सर्व करता था जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज को. So Bhaktivinod Thakur went to the house of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Sorry, Bhajan Kutir of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. I'll show you that also. Bhaktivinod Thakur ने Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj को बोला, please tell me, please confirm. I am pretty sure this is the place, but please tell me if this is the place or not. He did not say, no, he did not even say I'm pretty sure. He said, please tell me if this is the place or not. उन्होंने कहा मैं कैसे जाऊंगा? He cannot move. So Bihari used to carry him in a tokri. He had become very small. So उनको टोकरी में बिठा के लेके जाता था बिहारी, सर पे रख के. There are pictures of this. Pictures मतलब जैसे लोगों ने जो पोर्ट्रे किया, उनको सर पे बिठा के जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज को लेके जाता था बिहारी. He took him like that, and Jagannath Das Babaji, imagine, cannot move at all. उनके कोई joint भी नहीं खुलता. वो जब इस जगह पे पहुंचे, जैसे ही वो जगह पे पहुंचे, he jumped out of the टोकरी on the floor ground and started dancing. ए निमाई जन्मस्थान, ए निमाई जन्मस्थान, ऐसे बिल्कुल जैसे कि कोई 20 साल का नौजवान होता है. ए निमाई जन्मस्थान, ए निमाई जन्मस्थान, ऐसे करके बिल्कुल vigorously started dancing, and that confirmed that this is the जन्मस्थली of चैतन्य महाप्रभु. So वहां पर फिर भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर ने, जो वहां पे टेम्पल भी है भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर का, और घर पूरा महाप्रभु का योग पीठ है. So in this way, he discovered the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is one of the great contributions to our sampradaya. Let me see if I can find pictures now. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Mataji.
So this is Lord Sri Chaitanya's birthplace, and this is called Yog Peeth. Okay, and these are the Gaur Gadadhar deities and Lakshmi Narasimha deities there in the Yog Peeth. और ये तुलसी महारानी एंड वहाँ का जो पूरा टेम्पल है. ये वहाँ पे deities हैं शशि माता and जगन्नाथ मिश्रा की with the little निमाय। तो जो नीम ट्री था वहाँ पे, उस नीम ट्री के नीचे इनकी ये deities हैं दोनों की। Let me see।
लास्ट पिक्चर में था नीम ट्री।
हाँ नीम ट्री था उसमें। ये नीम ट्री, इसके नीचे जगन्नाथ मिश्रा। और एक्चुअली वो पिक्चर्स लेने नहीं देते, से दूर दूर से पिक्चर्स ऐसे लिए डिस्क्रीटली। जगन्नाथ मिश्रा एंड शची माता की डीटी है होल्डिंग निमाय। ये हो गया। These are some more deities in the temple there, and this was our class going on there. Acha. Okay, then let me show you the house of Bhaktivinod Thakur also. It's hard to find, too many slides. Okay, I'll wait for that. अच्छा, एक और चीज डिस्कवर की थी भक्तिविनोद ठाकुर ने, other than this. He discovered the real चैतन्य चरितामृत। जिस चैतन्य चरितामृत को प्रभुपाद ने ट्रांसलेट किया है, करके हमको दिया है, so there were many versions of Chaitanya Charitamrit going on that were, distorted versions. So Bhaktivinod Thakur studied different versions to find the right one, the one that is in congruence with the mood of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and in line with with Mahaprabhu's teaching. So he found the real Chaitanya Charitamrit also. And then another contribution is Bhaktivinod Thakur. Within 2 years, he established 500 Naam Hattas. 500 Naam Hattas. Naam Hatta kya hota hai? Naam Hatta is not like a temple. Temple mein sometimes there are these rules and restrictions like dress code, ya etiquettes, ya certain castes or religions may not be allowed. Hai na? So there are some rules that you have to follow according to the deity. You may have certain rules. But Naam Hatta mein, everybody and anyone it's like a marketplace for holy names. Naam Hatta means marketplace for holy names. Oh, that's another song of Bhaktivinod Thakur.
Like Jackson, Memphis, Naam Hatta.
Yes, like ours is a Naam Hatta. So we've not even established one Naam Hatta in like 6 years. So in 2 years, Bhaktivinod Thakur established how many Naam Hattas? 500 Naam Hattas in 2 years. This is the potency of a pure Paramhams Vaishnav, So, okay, anyway, so that's another contribution. Acha, एक चीज और बहुत important है to understand about Bhaktivinod Thakur is his routine. Because we said that Bhaktivinod Thakur was such a busy professional, right? He was such a busy grahastha. He was not a sannyasi, not a brahmachari. He was not like living in a temple. He was living in a house. He was carrying out the government services and very diligently, so diligently that they relied upon him completely. So how did he manage to write? He has written more than 100 books, numerous songs. We just said he established 500 Naam Hattas. He discovered the Yog Peeth, the birthplace of Mahaprabhu. He destroyed all these 13 Upsampradayas single-handedly. He destroyed all these other fraudulent elements, Bisha Sen type people. So how did he do that? For that, we have to understand the routine of Bhaktivinod Thakur, unka disciplined routine. Okay, let's hear that because it is very famously talked about. Everybody mentions this, and we cannot finish our talk without talking about that. Now, remember, these great devotees, we don't do anukaran, we do anusaran. क्या फर्क होता है अनुकरण और अनुसरण में? अनुकरण means to imitate someone, है ना? जैसे कि हम कृष्णा की लीला को अनुकरण करने की कोशिश करें या प्रभुपाद को अनुकरण करने की कोशिश करें, नहीं, वी शुड फॉलो देयर इंस्ट्रक्शंस. कृष्णा की इंस्ट्रक्शंस को फॉलो किया जाता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड अनुसरण या अनुसरण, कि किसी की शेल्टर लेना, किसी के फुटस्टेप्स में फॉलो करना, नॉट जस्ट टू इमिटेट एग्जैक्टली व्हाट दे डिड, दैट्स नॉट द मूड. सो when we hear this disciplined routine of Bhaktivinod Thakur, doesn't mean that, okay, ab se main bhi bas 2 ghante hi sounga, ya, not like that. But to understand that even as a grahastha, we don't have the excuse that we cannot read Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. If he can read all these books, we're not saying to read hundreds of books, read Goswami literature and all. We're just saying to read Prabhupada's books, or even the prominent Prabhupada books, at least. The 2-3 books that are recommended, the top 3-4 books at least, right? So we're not even saying to write too much bhakti literature or to establish so many namhattas. We're saying just serve in this one namhatta that we have. We're saying just read the basic books. We're saying just do the basic nam jap of a few malas that has been prescribed for you, you know. So we are not saying to imitate his routine, but be inspired by his routine, that this can be done in a grihasthashram also. Okay. So not to use grihasthashram or your busy professional life as an excuse to not read and not chant and to not serve in the local Sankirtan movements like that. So let's hear, okay, what was his routine. तो कहाँ से शुरू करूँ, सुबह से या शाम से, क्योंकि उनका कुछ सुबह शाम रात बहुत ही कम होती थी उनकी. Okay, let's start from morning. Okay, let's start from morning. So let me start from night. So he used to sleep at 8 o'clock in the night. Okay, he'll sleep only for 2 hours. Again, do not imitate at home. Okay, so 8 to 10 p.m. he used to sleep, 2 ghanta. Okay, 10 to 4 p.m. he used to write. So all this Vaishnav literature, all these songs that he has written, 10 to 4 p.m. Then 4 to 4.
10 to 4 a.m.
Sorry. So 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. he used to write. 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. he used to write. जो हमारा majority of सोने का time होता है, he used to write. फिर 4 o'clock in the morning he used to take a quick nap for half an hour, 4:30 तक, 4 से 4:30. 4:30 से 7 o'clock तक, 2.5 घंटा, he used to do intense japa, and his room was very small in which he used to do japa, so that there is no distraction. बिल्कुल छोटा सा room होता था. It is described कि उनका japa इतना बढ़िया होता था, high quality, that when he would even leave to go to work, his family members could still hear his name, the name being chanted from inside. जैसे कि अभी भी नाम जप चल रहा है. Like the name used to continue inside that room. इतनी potency, इतनी power थी कि ऐसा लगता था अभी भी नाम जप चल रहा है. So even though Bhaktivinod Thakur is not in the room. So 2.5 घंटा intense japa. 7 to 7:30 he used to write some correspondence, जो भी उनको mail literature वो करना होता था, letters वगैरह. Then 1 hour, 7:30 to 8:30 in the morning he had fixed for studying shastras. वो शास्त्र study करते थे. 8:30 to 9:30 he used to receive guests. जो भी उन्होंने guest का time वैसे नहीं, मतलब वैसे तो guests are welcome any time, but जैसे जो appointment लेके आते थे, because during his services, his professional life and all, he used to serve many type of people, so they would take his help. So they'd come at that time for their appointments. 8:30 to 9:30 he would receive these people, guests. 9:30 to 10 he will take a quick bath and prashadam. He'll honor, so आधे घंटे में नहाना भी और प्रसाद भी. 10 to 1 तो 3 घंटे अपने काम पे जाते थे कोर्ट ड्यूटीज के लिए. 1 to 2 he would come home, refresh, जैसे कि nap लेना, प्रसाद लेना, थोड़ा family time spend करना, and then again go to work. At 2 to 5 3 घंटे फिर से काम कोर्ट में. तो सुबह भी 3 घंटे काम किया, दोपहर को 3 घंटे. फिर 5 to 7 he used to again translate, write, read and write, okay? And then some time with family also. 7 to 8 also he would spend time with family and take prashadam. So basically 5 to 8 was like a personal time, prashadam time, read, write, study scriptures, all this. And then 8 to 10 p.m. he would sleep and wake up at 10, and very, very strict schedule he had. So this was the schedule of Bhaktivinod Thakur. We don't need to, we can just be inspired by it. It can be done. Okay, we don't need to read and write so much, but we need to read and write. And our disciplic succession has focused very prominently on reading, writing, other than chanting names, other than establishing temples. You can see our lineage is a very intellectual lineage. So you can see it's not, it's people that are very well read. So we should also be very well read in, you know, Vaishnav theology, try to understand the philosophy. So it's not just ki bhav hai, just पढ़ने से क्या होता है, just भाव है. But you can see how much importance is being given to reading, writing, preaching, because philosophy is a medium by which the sentiments manifest in the heart. So we should become very, really be up to date with the concepts of Vaishnav theology. We should know these concepts, these philosophies. Okay, I'll hold here. Let's see what other people want to share, and then we'll just wrap up in a few minutes. Ravi Prabhu, Nagarchan Prabhu, and other devotees, Hema Mataji, Sheetal Mataji, Poonam Mataji, please share. Any point? There's so much. Like ISKCON Desire Tree पे तो मैं पढ़ ही नहीं पाई पूरा क्योंकि इतना लंबा पेज था. So
बहुत लंबा है माता जी, बहुत लंबा है इनका ISKCON डिजायर ट्री में. और मेरे दिमाग में भी जस्ट आने इस कॉमन डोंट नो 2 घंटा प्रभु जी सोते थे 8 to 10, और जितना हम लोग अभी तक हम पढ़े हैं, जो भी बॉडी जो है डिटॉक्सिफाई करता है 10 to 2 में, तो इनका डिटॉक्सिफिकेशन लिखते लिखते हो जाता था लगता है.
I don't know, Prabhuji. Their body is spiritual, their body is transcendental, so it operates
राइट,
on
वही
a
तो
different.
एक्सेप्शनल.
But yeah, हमको वही बात है, ये नहीं करने की जरूरत, but सुबह जल्दी उठ सकते हैं, right? At least we take that inspiration and spare some time to study shastras, spare some time for naam jap. Acha, एक important question for you. So we know that we come in, there are Sakhis, there are Manjaris, there are Gopas, there are Gopis, there is Radharani. What is our line of disciplic succession called? Like, what is it? Who are they following? Are they Sakhis, Manjaris, Gopas? What are they?
रूपानुगानुमति.
Rupa Nuga to theek hai, yes.
But in- Yes, somebody answered.
Manjari is Mata, I think.
Yes.
Manjari. So we have, this is a line of Manjaris, है ना? So they are all Manjaris. जैसे कि भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती कौन सी मंजरी हैं? In the eternal, in his eternal body, he's 9 mani manjari.
Nine
9 mani manjari. तो भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर कौन सी मंजरी हैं? अच्छा, मंजरी होती क्या है? मंजरी होती है that serve सखीज, है ना? So इनको commonly ऐसे गोपीज बोलते हैं सबको ही, but manjaris are the ones that serve sakhis. Manjaris don't have anything to do with Krishna. They don't serve Krishna directly. They only facilitate the service of Radharani. They don't have any conjugal attachment with Krishna at all. Manjaris serve sakhis. And who is the topmost sakhi that they serve? Who's the leader of the sakhis that Prabhuji mentioned? Roop Manjari. That's why we are followers of Roop Goswami. So we are Rupanugas. So who's Roop Manjari? Roop Goswami. So, Roop Manjari is the prominent Manjari amongst all Manjaris. And these Manjaris serve the Sakhis. Who is the prominent Sakhi? Lalita Sakhi. So, okay, just to make it easy, Manjaris serve the Sakhis. Sakhis serve the Radharani. Radharani serves Krishna. So, Manjaris में सबसे prominent Manjari कौन है? Roop Manjari, which is Roop Goswami. सखीज में सबसे प्रोमिनेंट सखी कौन है? ललिता सखी. ओके, सो हमारी लाइन जो है वो मंजरी धारा है. ओके, इट्स अ धारा ऑफ मंजरीज. सो विच मंजरी इज भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर? कमल मंजरी. ओके, ही इज कमल मंजरी. सो दिस कमल मंजरी इज हु वी टॉक्ड अबाउट टुडे. Actually, he reveals he mentions Kamal Manjari in one of his songs also. ठीक है, और कुछ नागार्जुन प्रभु, you want to add something? I'm probably missing many things.
Hare Krishna, then Pranam to all devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur. I'm sorry I missed actually a lot of the class due to some time confusion. And but yeah, we went to the Melbourne temple yesterday. It was very nice. Today is half-day fasting, and we were singing the evening aarti, that is by Bhaktivinod Thakur that we sing. The Kiba Jaya Jaya Gaura Chandre. So Sandhya. So
So Bhaktivinod Thakur is such a great visionary. Yeah, he visualized the whole scene.
Yes. And then yeah, it was very nice, very good memories of visiting the house of Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur. He's like our grandfather. I don't know if we discussed that or not, but it was like Maharaj mentioned that how the grandparents are very they give extra benediction, extra love to the child, more than the parents, because the parents have to be strict and teach things, but the grandparents, they have kind of unconditional love for the grandchildren. So we are like the grandchildren, and that's why we submitted all our requests to Srila at the lotus feet of Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur. When we went there, we all we all did this little thing that we offered our obeisances and asked or requested. If you want to ask something, you ask from grandparents, it's more likely to get fulfilled than if you want chocolate or whatever. So Navya, hint hint. Uh, so that's why we were all given this kind of thing, that we can ask from Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur whatever spiritual benedictions we want. So I just want to share that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Nagar Prabhu. Yeah, this point we did not mention. Great grandfather, right? Father will be Prabhupada, and grandfather would be Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. But either way, and Guru Maharaj had us write down our wishes and ask Bhaktivinod Thakur to fulfill them, the spiritual desires. So we wrote them. So this is the house of Bhaktivinod Thakur. Acha, एक question बताइए. Let's see who can answer.
I think we can all do that, because I think that is very nice, because one of the idea of the writing was that if you write something down, then it becomes manifested in this universe, that you are actually putting it into action. So if we write down our spiritual desire and offer it to Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, so we should try to do that on this day.
Yes, we can do that. आज या कल में करना चाहिए, because कल तो है ही ना day. I was going to ask, do you know, जैसे मैंने पूछा कि कौन हमारी जो disciplic succession है, that's मंजरी धारा, हमारे जो गुरु, हमारे आचार्यस हैं, can someone tell me, our disciplic succession, is it a shiksha line or a diksha line? Okay, or you can tell me, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, is he diksha guru? Did he give diksha to Bhaktivinod Thakur?
Navya is answering. Navya wanted to answer.
Okay, go ahead, Navya.
Shiksha line?
Yes. So Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, is he diksha guru or shiksha guru of Bhaktivinod Thakur? He is the शिक्षा गुरु. He's not the diksha. So ये बात भी अपने संप्रदाय के बारे में समझनी बहुत जरूरी है, that ours is a शिक्षा line. So when we name all these acharyas, this disciplic succession, they are not necessarily the diksha gurus of the next person. So they are all shiksha gurus. So जो उनकी दीक्षा हुई थी, that was from Vipin Bihari Goswami. Diksha was from Vipin Bihari Goswami. Jagannath Das Babaji was the shiksha guru of Bhaktivinod Thakur. So ours is a shiksha dhara. Shiksha, so shiksha guru is a very high position. हम लोग कई बार ऐसे बोल देते हैं कि शिक्षा गुरु हो आप ये, लेकिन शिक्षा guru is not any different from diksha guru. Like they are very they're transcendental people. They're not they're very advanced personalities. So that's why their names are mentioned in the disciplic succession. So we should know that ours is a shiksha dhara. We're not undermining either diksha or shiksha guru, but we should just know this, that shiksha is given more importance than the diksha in our disciplic succession. So, okay, this is the deity of Bhaktivinod Thakur in his house. Bhaktivinod Thakur's deity. This is in Godruma. I'll show you the room of Bhaktivinod Thakur in a few minutes. This is his deity close up. You can see Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, the ray of Vishnu on the left here. And people just offering prayers and all. And this is the room of Bhaktivinod Thakur upstairs. ऊपर जाके उनका room था, छोटा सा room था बिल्कुल. और वहां से वो जगह दिखती है, वहां से दूर वो जगह दिखती है जहाँ पे, okay, this is very important point I missed. Bhaktivinod Thakur made 3 important predictions about Hare Krishna movement. He said, one, he said there will be fair-skinned people, fair-skinned foreigners that will come to Mayapur Dham and chant Jai Sachinandan. So from this room, he looked outside the balcony and he had this vision कि मायापुर में एक दिन ये गोरे लोग आएंगे और बहुत प्रोफ्यूज हरि नाम संकीर्तन होगा, बहुत अमेजिंग वंडरफुल, जोर से जय सच्चिनंदन का नाम गाया जाएगा पूरे मायापुर में. दिस वाज द विजन ऑफ भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर. सो जो कोई सोच भी नहीं सकता इन दैट टाइम व्हेन वी आर रूल्ड बाय ब्रिटिशर्स कि ये गोरे लोग आकर मायापुर धाम में, अभी आप जाओ मायापुर में, सारे मतलब अमेजिंग वंडरफुल कीर्तन्स गोइंग ऑन द स्ट्रीट ऑल ओवर. सो जय सच्चिनंदन गाया जाएगा. And he said another prediction he made was एक prediction थी प्रभुपाद को लेके, हाँ, कि एक कोई पर्सनालिटी आएगी 100 कितने ऐसे कुछ बोला था उन्होंने कि प्रभुपाद came in 1896 कि और तब 1886 था शायद कि 100 years में, हाँ, within 100 years there will be a personality who will take श्रीमद् भागवतम and हरिनाम to the western world. तो उन्होंने ये भी प्रिडिक्ट किया था. और एक तीसरी थी कि चैंटिंग ऑफ हरिनाम संकीर्तन विल बिकम वर्ल्ड वाइड. तो ऐसे उन्होंने 3 कुछ प्रिडिक्शंस की थी. बट सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट उसमें से ये थी कि मायापुर धाम में ही सब फॉरेनर्स आके जय सच्चिनंदन गाएंगे. Okay, ये
And he said about Mayapur, right? That place is Mayapur, like across where he could see across the river. That will be the place where we should have the Mayapur Dham.
वहां से मतलब उनको कुछ विजन हुआ था, ये विजन कि लोग डांस कर रहे हैं और वो कर रहे हैं, कीर्तन कर रहे हैं जय सच्चिनंदन का.
Right. He predicted that Mayapur will become such a prominent place of.
So these are some of the pastimes.
And can you show that picture? I want to ask what people think that
Which
wooden
one?
thing is.
Which one?
The of his room.
Oh yeah, okay, yes. This one?
Okay. What is this structure on the right side? On the right? No, not that. I'm talking about
This
the one next. Yeah. What is that structure? What do people think?
For sure.
Okay. So I don't hear any guesses. But yeah, but this is basically like a bookshelf, and it had scriptures, and it was suggested or made by Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, like how to make this. So he was a visionary again, because this is a rotating shelf kind of. You can rotate, and while sitting, you can pick up any book that was there at the different levels of it. So this is very unique. At that time, these kind of things were not there. You're muted, Nārangi. You're muted.
Haribol, I was just saying thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, he was a great visionary. He, by his mercy, the Vaishnav tradition again came into the light in Bengal, and by the mercy of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his son, it spread all over India, and then by mercy of Prabhupada, it spread all over the world. So these are, wonderful. This is the lineage that we have. We should take pride in this heritage that we have received. So we come from this is our great grandfather, father, imagine. So we are coming from the line of such wonderful intellectuals, that are bestowed with the mercy of the Lord and Radharani. और अच्छा, एक क्वेश्चन पूछती मैं आपसे, ये हम ग्रेट पर्सनालिटीज को श्रीला क्यों बोलते हैं? जैसे हम बोलते हैं श्रीला भक्ति विनोद. मैं आई वाज मीनिंग टू आस्क दैट बिफोर, मुझे अभी दोबारा से याद आया. श्री क्यों नहीं बोलते? जैसे श्री चैतन्य ये बोलते हैं हम, लेकिन इनको श्रीला क्यों बोलते हैं? या श्रीला भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद?
नहीं, आइडिया नहीं माता जी. श्री के साथ तो मैंने है कनेक्शन कि श्री इज बेसिकली राधा रानी का नाम है. श्रीला नहीं माता जी, नो गेस.
सो श्री तो हो गया ना राधा रानी का नाम. श्रीला हो गया दोज पीपल दैट सर्व राधा रानी इन हर लीलाज विद कृष्णा. ला. सो श्रीला जो लीला में सर्व करते हैं, जो राधा रानी की सेवा करते हैं इन द लीलाज. So these are such amazing personalities that have, these are, Prabhupada used to say about his disciples, these are Vaikuntha men. So वहाँ से direct भगवान ने भेजे हैं हमारे लिए. So we should hear about them, and actually it is said that Hari Katha सुनने से जब purification होती है, then you get Krishna's mercy, and Krishna's mercy gets you in such a position that now you want to hear about Vaishnavas. तो हरि कथा के आगे का लेवल है वैष्णव कथा सुनना. हरि कथा तो बहुत लोग सुनते हैं, लेकिन वैष्णव कथा सुनना, डिवोटीज की कथा सुनना, ये इतनी हैंकरिंग किसी की नहीं होती. भगवान से तो फिर भी थोड़ा बहुत श्रद्धा, थोड़ा बहुत पाइटी, थोड़ा अटैचमेंट हो जाती है, लेकिन जब डिवोटी से अटैचमेंट हो जाए, जब अपने आचार्य से, अपने गुरु वर्गा से, प्रेमी भक्ताज से अटैचमेंट हो जाए, देन मतलब कृष्णा की मर्सी रियली फ्लो कर रही है. So all of you have such a hankering to hear Vaishnav katha, because everybody wants to know about the pastimes of Krishna. Who wants to know about the pastimes of, you know, Bhaktivinod Thakur, and but you all want to know. So this is the direct mercy of the Lord. And हम हमेशा बोलते हैं कि हमें क्या पता कि भगवान हमारी लाइफ में एक्ट कर रहे हैं, हमें कोई रियलाइजेशंस तो हो नहीं रही कुछ, लेकिन this is the if you have a taste like this, that you are coming for this Vaishnav katha, that is the reciprocation Lord has given you, that you have developed taste for Vaishnav katha. So हरि कथा में तो फिर भी मान लो 10 लोगों का टेस्ट होगा, लेकिन वैष्णव कथा तो 0.1 का भी पर्सन का भी टेस्ट नहीं होता. So all glories to all of you for attending this session and for immersing yourself in the life and glories of Bhaktivinod Thakur. Hopefully we'll fast tomorrow till noon on the disappearance day of Bhaktivinod Thakur. It's also the disappearance day of Gadadhar Pandit. It's a whole another thing. I did not go in because we have discussed about Gadadhar Pandit many times. He's one of the Panch Tattvas. But again, since he's a Bhagavad Tattva, I thought we'll discuss Vaishnav Katha rather than his Katha will still be Bhagavad Katha. So let's discuss about Vaishnav Katha rather. So Vaishnavas की glorification सुनने से बहुत cleansing होती है अपने अनर्थास की. Thank you so much for joining. Please sing some Vaishnav bhajans by Bhaktivinod Thakur. Vibhavri Shesha is another one that I just realized. And Kali Kukur Kadan is another one. So many songs that we can sing. Vancha kaltarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo Purve Gaur Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tat Bhaktaya Namo Namah. Hare Krishna. Anyone else wants to say anything? Poonam Mataji, didn't hear from you. Anything you wanted to add or correct or share? Hima Mataji also. If not, we'll stop. In 1 or 2 days, there is Gundicha Marjan and Rath Yatra. So we can hear about that or read about that, or we can do some classes of that also. Okay, thank you everyone for joining. Have a nice evening. Hare Krishna.